Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring my review for the 2020 action thriller Unhinged, a film that is directed by Derek Porte and it stars Russell Crowe, Karen Pistorius, Jimmy Simpson, Gabriel Bateman, Anne Layton and Lucy Forst. Now, this is a film that focuses on Karen Pistorius' character Rachel, who herself is having a pretty bad day. However, she has an unfortunate encounter with Russell Crowe's character, who is simply called the Man, at an intersection. She loses her temper with him as he stalls at some lights, shoots past him, pips a horn at him a few times, thinks nothing of it. However, this sets off a chain of events where Russell Crowe's character then pursues her and not only puts her life in direct danger, but those she cares about as well, as the events of the film continue to escalate. So what are my thoughts on Unhinged? Do you know what? I really quite enjoyed this film. Maybe it's because it's the first time in a while I've been back to the cinema. It's the first time I've been in months and months, it feels like, to the cinema. And I just thought this was a really nicely paced, nicely well made film. It reminded me a lot of a combination of the Steven Spielberg film Duel and Falling Down, the Michael Douglas film. It felt like a cross between those two films. Russell Crowe was fantastic in the lead role as this man simply called the Man, this unnamed character. He plays this mammoth of a man. I mean, a giant of a man. I mean, whether he's done it for the film or whether it's just him, how he's going these days, it looks huge in this film, and it looks very imposing, very threatening. And he plays this character that is literally on the edge. He's lost all connection to society and reality. Doesn't care what happens to him, doesn't care what happens to anybody around him, and he's a very, very dangerous man, and that is made very, very clear in this film. And Russell Crowe absolutely chews the scenery up in this film. He's fantastic. He really is excellent, Russell Crowe, in this film. As is Karen Pistorius, who plays Rachel. They're like two sides of the same coin almost. It's a great performance by her about this woman who her life isn't going great. She's obviously split from her husband. She's struggling to bring up a son, not a lot of money. She gets fired that morning from a job, constantly caught in traffic trying to get her son to school. So, you know, she's having her own problems. However, if you like, she is us, the audience member. We deal with everyday frustrations on the road and elsewhere in the appropriate way, and we absorb them and deal with them, generally speaking. And then you've got the other side of the coin, the Russell Crowe character, who has had enough of dealing with these issues. He's not going to deal with these issues anymore. And there's an interesting scene at the beginning when he actually confronts her initially after the intersection issue where she pipped a horn at him. Where he almost offers her an olive branch, and she doesn't take it. I mean, she obviously doesn't realise the consequences of not apologising or something as he asks for. But I thought that was an interesting scene. And then you get this cat and mouse then for the rest of the film, where initially she just thinks she's being followed by him, and then it just escalates and escalates to and it gets way out of control. And it's a really well made film, well put together. It's wonderfully paced. I think it was only about 80 minutes long, something like that. So it was really nicely paced. It's all set over one day. The tension that the film builds is really executed wonderfully. There's some scenes. There's quite a lot of scenes where it's done over a telephone. He calls her and vice versa, sort of thing. And the strength of the performances from both these actors really carries this film, because much of these interactions, like I say, are over the phone. And there's some scenes where he gives her impossible choices, and you kind of think, God, what would I do in that position? And there's a really tense scene where she's got to get her son back from school, it was just a really good film. I really liked it. It's not gonna, blow your socks off or anything like that. It's not awe-inspiringly good or anything. It's just a well-made, entertaining film. Yes, there are some, plot points that take a little bit of a stretch of the imagination here and there. It takes a few liberties here and there with things, but other than that, I don't really have a huge amount of complaints with this film. It's one of those films that you'll put on, you'll enjoy watching, and that'll be it, really. You know what I mean? But it was nicely paced, nicely made, some good action scenes, especially in the vehicles and things like that. Some good tension building, and overall a nicely made film with some really good performances. Even the Gabriel Bateman, who plays her son Kyle, I thought was excellent in the film as well. I'm not sure. Thinking about it now, I haven't checked actually. I wonder if he's Jason Bateman's son. He looked a little bit like him, so I suspect he could be. But then again, I could be wrong as well. Jimmy Simpson, who you may recognise from Westworld, was in it. I would have liked to have seen him in it a little bit more, but his scene is well done and it's really fun to watch. It's a interesting scene with him and Russell Crowe for sure. So I think it's one of those films really that I think it's just a nicely put together film that is not, like I say, it's not going to win any award. It won't be remembered fondly by huge amounts of people, but I really appreciated it. And like I say, maybe some of that's because I went to the cinema to see it for the first time in a while. But I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I feel I've been a little bit generous with that rating, but still, I did enjoy the film. So that is my review for Unhinged. If you get an opportunity to see it, I do recommend it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you back with more content on Screen Stars very soon.